This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where Irvin and I come at you live at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. If you're listening to us, then you know that you're in the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. We always encourage you to join the conversation. That means that you can pick up the telephone, you can give us a call. The number you can reach us at is 347-857-3958. Again, the number here is 347-857-3958. Irv, how was your day, sir?
Always great, man. Always a great time to be in business for yourself.
Yes,
always exciting to get out here and, cut deals.
Take on the world.
Take on the world.
See if you can make it work.
Charge forward. At least fall forward if nothing else.
If nothing else, that's right. Just don't fall back.
Don't fall back. Fall forward or pile up right where you're at, but don't go backwards.
Well, today's hump day, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So that means that it's the midweek swing. We got to give them something good today.
Yeah, well, we can give them something good. I tell you what, man, I'm kind of excited about our topic today.
Yeah, I think I am a little bit as well.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you why, man, because a lot of people feel like they know how to get out and do stuff, only to find out that they really don't have any rails to run on.
Yeah. And that's what business principles gives you.
Exactly.
Those really are your rails. I mean, a train is useless unless it's on the track.
That's exactly right.
And your business principles that you operate by, these are the things that you do consistently, that you do regularly, and that you do each and every day.
Right.
There are just some things that you do, and it's time to step up to the plate. You approach it the same way every single time you start to swing the bat. And business is the same way. You got to have some business principles that you follow. And what are those? And many people really don't have that. They just sort of, do things any old kind of way.
Well, no, they're flying by the seat of their pants,
right,
man. I mean, it's unbelievable. And it's interesting because a lot of times I find myself as a consultant, I'm in a situation where I'm trying to either stop someone from doing that because they're going to hurt themselves, or try to untie them from a situation that they got themselves into because they were flying by the seat of their pants when they got in the deal.
Absolutely.
And did it really with no strategy, no rhyme or reason, and worse, no way out of it if it turned out to be something other than what everybody hoped for.
Right. Well, we got some principles that we're going to share with you today. There are 3 sets of principles that Irv and I really like to talk about that we think that sort of give you a foundation to run on in business. And again, this is one of those non-academic things.
Sure.
Today we're going to be talking about the 11 principles to wheel and deal, and all entrepreneurs want to be wheeler dealers.
I know.
I think that term really came out when I think of a wheeler dealer, you know who I think about?
Who is that?
J.R.
J.R. Ewing?
J.R. Ewing. That's the only wheeler dealer.
Yeah, man.
And so when you think about someone who's out here and they're doing things and they're controlling their own destiny, they're making deals happen. All entrepreneurs sort of want to be that in their own regard, and you got to have some solid business principles to make that happen.
Yeah, because you're gonna suffer some serious pain if you don't.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna suffer serious pain anyway.
Well, that's the point. But why make it bigger?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Why have bigger pain?
Now, before we get into it, let's mention that you have another government supply
thank you for that. That's right.
Up.
Yeah, you know what, man, we had a wild time last time.
I bet, man. I mean, you had 100 and something.
No, I think we stopped counting I think we stopped counting at about 110 or 120. And people were still coming, and it was really interesting because folks over at the Kingdom Builder Center, and by the way, folks, if you hadn't had the opportunity to treat yourself, go over to the Kingdom Builder Center. It's over at 6011 West Orem. go over there and take the tour. Just go in the office and say, hey, I want to tour the place, and see when they can get you a tour in there so you can go and see that facility. But, John, those folks were so accommodating. Let me tell you what they did. They just kept bringing chairs.
As people kept coming in.
As people kept coming, they just kept bringing chairs. Man.
That's good, though.
It was great how they were able to pivot, move, and adjust, with the demand. But, wow, what a big time we had.
Well, since we're on the subject of government supply contracting, why don't we give a quick overview of what you'll be covering in the course?
Yeah, sure.
And if you're in the Houston area, again, this is for February 1st, which is going to be at the Kingdom Builders Center. It's just a 2-hour seminar, so it's something that you can do relatively quickly and get back to your business day. It starts at 10 a.m. It goes to 12 noon, so you'll still get out in time to go eat lunch.
That's exactly.
But let's talk a little bit about some of the points that you'll cover.
Yeah, well, one of the big things that we're going to talk about is setting up a plan, understanding how much money you're supposed to be making.
Okay.
That's one of the big challenges.
As you're selling to the government.
Well, yeah, exactly right. Because, a lot of people, we start out with that as being one of the bullet points, one of the key bullet points that we cover in the seminar, because quite honestly, John, one of the things we found is that what good is it to go out and go through the pain and trouble of setting up a government contracting company, and you have no idea, no goal, no destination, no real strategy for how much money you're supposed to be making. It's kind of like going and saying you're going to go and pay for a basketball game, but they take the hoops down.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to pay to watch people dribble.
Yeah. And with that being said, I'd like to also point out, if you're someone who is maybe looking to get into business for yourself, not quite sure what it is that you want to do, if you're someone that's already in business, would like to do business with the government, but don't know how, you don't know how to navigate the forms, you don't know. This is the class for you. This is for that individual.
Absolutely.
So it's all. You don't have to be in business for several years.
Nope.
And if you've been in business for several years and you're not either getting the type of business that you desire from government agencies, come to this class. Irv is going to cover those points that cover how to bid, how to make sure there's profitability in your bid.
No doubt about that.
What forms need to be filled out, who to talk to. He's going to give you some ideas in terms of the types of things that you can sell to the government, because I think that many of us sort of get short-sighted when we think about the government, but the government doesn't manufacture anything.
Not a thing.
So every single thing that the government uses to do business is purchased from some person or entity.
And it might as well be you.
Might as well be you. I mean, you're paying into the system. You may as well get something right back out of the system. And Irv is going to teach you how to do that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that, man. So many people, John, I was really stunned. We have so far, since we started the program over there, with the class that's coming out, added to the group we have now, we will have literally set up and started about 54 companies.
Not bad.
And then of course, this is up to December 15th, so we didn't start again until the top of January. So, and then the other thing is, of those outside of the 54, we have about another 15 companies that were already, get this, they were already government contractors, but we're not getting any contracts. So what I'm saying there, folks, is that if you are already a government contractor and you've been unsuccessful or unwilling or otherwise unable to get in and compete for these contracts, guess what? You need to be at that seminar, because we're going to absolutely talk about what those opportunities are. We're going to talk about what strategy you need to put in place so that you can get in and effectively compete for these contracts. We're going to answer those questions that you want to ask, that everybody wants to dance around. That's why we have the seminar.
Now, you know that our friends that are outside the Houston area are going to ask the question.
Yep.
Is it going to be a webcast of any sort?
Yes, I appreciate you asking that. We are working on that very thing right now.
Okay.
And, we're slated to have that thing up and going here in February.
Okay.
So I'm pretty excited about that. And so far, we've been able to hold the line on our goals for that. So it's looking good right now.
So if you're outside of the Houston area, don't feel the pressure to fly all the way here just to catch the seminar.
No.
Irv has got something for you brewing for next month.
It's cooking right now, folks, and you'll be able to see literally what we're talking about online. And we're gonna do it two ways. Obviously, we're gonna do it live,
Yeah.
And then after that, whatever the live broadcasts are, we'll have those things archived.
Now, where do you want people to go if they're interested in registering?
Yeah, now if you're interested in registering, what you want to do is you want to go to our website. You can put your name in there, put your email address in, and guess what? We'll send you the invitation with all the information on there, directions, and how you register and all that. What you want to do is you want to go to www.net30, that's net30credit.com. net30credit.com. There's a form right there. Put your name in. Say you're requesting an invitation.
And just so that you know, there is no cost to attend.
No, there's no cost to attend the seminar.
Just free parking.
Free parking. And guess what? We'll even put you in either AC or heat, depending on the weather here.
And it could change at a moment's
notice. It could change at any moment down here, man. But we'll make you comfortable, that's for sure.
And again, I'll go through. It's a government supply contracting class that begins February 1st. Is at the Kingdom Builder Center, and that's located at 6011 West Orem, a magnificent facility. There's free parking, huge parking lots. It starts at 10 a.m. It runs to 12 noon. There's no cost. If you've ever wanted to do business with the government and you need to get some questions answered, this is the place to be. Again, you can go to net30credit.com. Or you can give us a call. You can give us a call at 800-381-0073. We got our folks standing by. When we come back, Irv and I are going to talk about the 11 principles to wheel and deal. If you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to do something great, you want to wheel and deal and make big things happen, we're going to give you 11 principles that you can use in your business. Guys, you're tuned in to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine for and about Houston's entrepreneurs. If you'd like to get your free copy of Small Business Today magazine, go to www.smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. Put your information in and we'll send you one each and every month to your email inbox. More in a moment with Urban and John.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is, Is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about the 11 principles to wheel and deal, and these are the principles that you want to operate your business by. And you know, Irv, I have, whenever I've stepped away from some of these, it's always cost me.
Always.
And you know, the most important principle should be principle number one.
That's right.
And principle number one is always position yourself to be in control.
Wait a minute. It's not okay to be out of position?
No.
No?
No. Or not in control.
Oh, no. Wait, so you could be in the right position but not have control. Is that still okay? Yes or no?
That is not okay.
Not okay.
That is not okay. You want to position yourself to be in control. And when I say that, let me give you example. I had a gentleman who came to meet with me a few days ago, and he wanted to talk about becoming a salesperson for an organization whereby he needed a license to do selling. Okay. And he said that, well, I'm encouraged by the person who's going to host or sponsor my license to go ahead and get started sending clients and building a book of business. And there are two problems with that. Number one, you're operating outside of the law, because if you have to hold a license to do this work, you are not allowed to do that work.
That's right.
And number two, let's say that you get 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 clients in and they get signed up. What control do you have that you're going to be paid in return for that work?
None whatsoever.
So I told him, even if you got a contract with that person that they were going to pay you for that business, it's unenforceable because you are not licensed to do that business. The thing is, get the license. Now, that's just one example. There's so many times when I see people who work transactions out, they do deals with distributors, partners, and associates, and they don't maintain any level of control. And I personally have a problem whereby I'm expected to do X, and I don't control the checkbook.
Well, that's exactly right. And more importantly, John, and I know you might think, well, what's more important than controlling the checkbook? But here's the thing. Being able to control the quality of the work or whatever is supposed to be done.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal.
Especially if you're risking your reputation.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Can't control
the
quality of the work.
Yeah.
So this can really be looked at in several different ways, and you're right, it's not always money.
No. And here's the thing. Talking about being in position to be in control, a lot of people don't misread what we're saying here, folks. We're not saying to jockey for position's sake.
Yeah.
That's not what we're saying. We're not saying, be inflexible or not be willing to compromise. What we are saying is that you need to be in a position to control this transaction. And I'm not talking about necessarily a money transaction. It could be a customer transaction. It could be a transaction where there's a product or a service being sold, whatever that is. But you've got to be in a position. You've literally got to have the authority to make that transaction make sense for all of the parties involved.
That's absolutely right. And I love the fact that you brought up that it's not always money.
No.
So you don't want to look at it that way. And having control is not something that's always given overnight.
No.
You may have to do things in such a way where you don't have any control to show your worth, to show your skill set or your ability, all the while having a plan in place to position yourself to have more control over the say-so in a transaction.
Absolutely. And it's funny that we're talking about this because I just left a meeting where I'm talking with a company who is looking to bring on some capital from investors. And you can't have an investor conversation without the question of control coming up.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't come up, don't walk, run.
Yeah.
Because you're about to be hurt.
Absolutely.
Right? Because the only reason it won't come up is because somebody is planning to rob you.
That's it. That's because they have all the control.
They have all the control, therefore it doesn't need to come up, which means you've been robbed or you're about to be.
You want to do point number 2?
Yeah, point number 2. You know what? To make sure you get somebody to do what you want them to do, You got to find out what they want and then see that they get it.
I think that's probably the first rule of negotiating.
Sure. See, because let me tell you what, your negotiation is a moot point if you can't convey to a person who wants something that you can provide them with what they want.
Right. How do I get what I want out of you?
Right.
If I don't give credence to what it is that you want.
Exactly.
So, you got to find out what somebody wants and then get that to them. And then from that situation, you can get anything that you want.
Well, that's one of the keys to triggering, I believe, capital. This conversation is not about capital, but it's one of those things. It doesn't have to be money. It could be you're trying to get somebody to be on your team. It might be that you're trying to get somebody to be on your board, or somebody to be an advisor to you, or partner with you,
or somebody to be a mentor for you.
Or somebody to be
how
a mentor.
do you attract that person? What's in it for them?
Exactly.
And you always have to answer that question. And now I'm going to tell you something else. You just made a comment about, if control is not discussed, run. If the deal is one-sided and you seemingly have all the chips on your side of the table in a negotiation, something isn't right.
That's right. Run.
Something is not right.
If somebody is coming along to you, and that's what I mean by I just had this conversation, where here's a company, it's operating, it's going about its business, and somebody comes along and offers up money to this company with no documents.
That's right.
No conversation about control. And says, hey, we can put some cash in your deal and help your business grow. And you control it.
That would scare the hell out of me.
Exactly. That's the point. And I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but the truth is, John, it started to smell like a laundering
something's wrong.
Offer. Something's just wrong there.
That's exactly
Nobody
right.
forks over money and says, nah, don't worry about it. We don't need any documents or... Come on.
That sounds like one of those, Godfather type deals.
That's
you can have this, but you're going to owe me one day.
I
can't do business
that
way.
Is a blank check.
All right, let's move on to number 3. Now, remember, we're talking about the 11 principles to wheel and deal, and these are principles that you want to make certain that you operate by every single day in your business. We talked about number 1 and 2, and we're up to number 3, and it is knowledge and networks is money these days.
No doubt about it.
People pay you for what you know. If you don't know anything, then I guarantee you the same is in your bank account.
That's exactly
knowledge
right.
and networks is what you know and who you know. That's money these days. And to add value to that, every transaction, every major business deal that I have personally done has involved a money partner of some sort.
Sure.
And they didn't bring money to the table simply because the deal alone had merit.
No.
It's also what I knew in the position or the role that I played in the deal.
Exactly.
So I had to make certain that I knew my business.
That's right.
And Facebook is an example of that.
Look, let's be clear about this for our listeners, and that is when you start talking about knowledge and networks, those are intellectual properties. The people you know that you've networked with, people that you've built a relationship with,
right?
People that you've built a history with, where you have credibility, all right? Mm-hmm. And then you have knowledge of how to do something or what to do when the time comes.
Yes.
Those are intellectual properties, and because they're intellectual in nature, they are fruits of the mind, as it were. Those things have a value.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? When you can place a value on it, and a lot of people have trouble with this, John, because how do you value an intellectual property? Well, it really means you value it by how much money could be made from that intellectual property,
right?
Or how much money could be saved from that intellectual property. Either way is okay.
Yeah.
But now you have a clearly defined value.
Right. And, intellectual property, we got to get an intellectual property attorney to come on the show.
We need to do that. We absolutely need to do that.
And talk about the ways that you negotiate and value.
Yes.
Because that is something that's very, very difficult to value. And I don't know that there is a science to valuing or placing a value on intellectual property?
Well, yeah, there is actually science formulas
Is that right?
that are implemented
that can figure out what the value of that is.
Yeah.
Forward.
Oh, absolutely.
That's interesting.
Absolutely. In fact, there's I want to say there's 3 or 4 valuation methods
that they use
that are standard that are used to value intellectual property. And yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll get an attorney in and have some real conversation about that.
Knowledge in networks is money these days. People pay you for what you know, and who you know is where you can get all the money that you need to do a deal.
How about a question about law?
Okay.
All right. So, what is law, right? And so you put the right words in the right order so that it creates a rule.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, so now the law either will be a law that will be an enabling legislation,
mm-hmm.
whereby the law itself creates an opportunity for something to happen, or it'll be restrictive legislation to stop something from happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm with that. And so then, to go back to your point, the law is nothing but
words,
and in the right
order.
So every deal that you do has to be done according to the law, first and foremost. Every contract that you sign, and understand that the law is nothing more than putting the right words in the right order. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to recap that and drive that point home.
Absolutely. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by DirecTV. With over 285 channels and NFL Sunday ticket packages start at just $29.99 a month. You can sign up today at 888-344-9296. Don't go away. We got more right after this.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disastrous, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I are talking about the 11 principles to wheel and deal, and business principles are just some rules that you operate by, that you adhere to every single time you do business, every single time that you do a transaction. Now, out of these 11 principles, we've made it up to number 4. In the last segment, we've established that the law is nothing but putting the right words in the right order. And the law has to be adhered to on every transaction. Folks, let me just say this. If you're working a deal and it involves a contract, please, 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 I beg of you, hire an attorney to look over the contract, even if you and that other party just happen to write a gentleman's agreement just between the both of you. Get an attorney to eyeball it and just add some legal structure to it, because there's nothing worse than having a gentleman's agreement in a court of law and you don't have all the body of law represented in that contract. It can come back and it can haunt you. And I've fallen victim to that, going the cheap way out, going the easy way out, when really the easy way out is to do something the proper way.
You know, you make a good point there, John, about gentlemen's agreements and agreements in general. One of the things that small business owners run up against is, oh my gosh, I got to have this agreement between these parties.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hire an attorney, John. This guy's going to charge me a ton of money, and he's going to put all kinds of stuff in there. And I may or may not know what all that means.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the point. You can still draw up your gentleman's agreement, folks. All we're saying is get a legal review.
Yes.
That will save you the money you're trying to save and still allow you to achieve the safety of having it reviewed. You know, you can write an agreement, whether it's a 1-page or a 2-pager or 3 sentences, doesn't matter. The point is you can write the general agreement between you and those parties, whoever it is you're trying to do business with, and then get a legal review, and then because if you do it that way, folks, you can at least be comfortable that you've got in the agreement at least the basic foundational principles of what the agreement was about.
Right.
And the attorney can build around that and now make that thing where it'll stand up for the parties involved.
And those aren't expensive. I mean, you can get an attorney to review a contract. I mean, I've paid as little as $99.
That's exactly right.
$100 for somebody to just review a contract and just add that little boilerplate to it that needs to be present in every agreement.
Exactly.
So
no doubt about it.
Do yourself that favor. Number 5 on the list.
Number 5 on the list, when you wheel and deal, there are only a couple of things that you have to do, John.
And what are they?
A, do what the law says you have to do.
Okay.
And then B, do what the banker or investor says you got to do.
So the only 2 things that I have to do when I'm wheeling and dealing is A, what the law says I must do, and B, what the bank says I must do.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's a pretty simple principle.
That is simple. That's why we're having it on the show, because a lot of people don't do that very thing. That's the very thing they don't do.
You know, and as I think about those 2 rules, the law, I think that's a given. I mean, if you do a transaction, if you do an agreement with someone, you want to follow the rules of the law in any business deal.
Right.
But then the bank is a different element.
No.
And you know, the bank has certain rules. There are rules that you have to adhere to when you want to navigate. And when we say bank, we're talking about an investor, somebody who's going to be an equity partner. Whoever is holding the purse strings, you have to do what they want you to do. If there are certain reports that have to be done, if there is an investment brief that you have to prepare, you just be mindful that you should be willing to do what the law says you must do and what the bank says you must do.
Just remember, ask your attorney about 2 things: covenants and caveats. Ask about those.
Covenants and caveats.
Not the same thing.
Hmm.
So make sure you ask your attorney about what is a covenant, what is a caveat. Very different things.
Interesting.
All right. So John.
Yes, sir.
The golden rule.
The golden rule is that he who holds the gold makes all the rules. And I think this works in conjunction with number 5, meaning that all you have to do is what the bank says you must do.
Yeah, but doesn't that make people angry?
Some.
It doesn't make some people angry. I would think it would make
it could be frustrating.
Yeah, because you think you're all that, so you're going to make all the rules.
Nah, let me tell you, the golden rule is this. We just talked about purse strings.
Right.
Generally, the person who holds that is the person that's in position or in power to make the rules of the agreement. That's right. And that can be a slippery slope when you're in need of investor capital or you're in need of bank financing. But understanding and respecting that principle should help you work through your transaction. Exactly right. And I love what you said about understanding and respect. Yeah. You have to understand and respect the position of the person who's got the gold. Yeah. All right. I mean, how many times have you done business with someone and they think simply because they have knowledge of a process that they are in superior negotiating form? No. And that's not always the case. Not always the case. And quite frankly, there are instances where that is the case, but it's usually directly related to the source of the capital. Yes. The source of the gold. Yeah. Where the person who has the gold is actually trying to get somewhere, and now this knowledge helps that person get where they're trying to go. That's about the only instance where that might have some equal footing. Other than that, no. If I may go back to my own experience. Sure. You know what used to really crack me up? What's that? Is when I was in mortgage banking. Sure. So I would have a real estate agent or a buyer of a piece of property go out, find, a buyer would find a seller, the seller would find the buyer. They would work through their agents. The 4 of them would collude and create the terms of a transaction. And they come and tell you what the terms are. And not only create the terms, in creating those terms, they would set a closing date. Oh, wow. And then they would come into my office. Without you? Without me being involved whatsoever. And they would tell me that based on this contract that I have between the buyer and the seller, our closing date is set for, let's say, January 31st. Okay. Right? And give me that as the banker and expect me to adhere to it. And so then I would have to explain. But you had the money. Thank you. Well, that's that respect part I'm talking about. And I would have to explain and teach so many real estate agents, so many loan officers who were trying to impress real estate agents, so many borrowers who were trying to execute their contracts within the confines of the closing dates that were set therewith, that the golden rule is that he who holds the gold makes all the rules. And your loan, sir, does not close until you have cleared each and every condition. Right. And the bank can care less as to when your closing date is, Urban. They really do. And I mean, let me tell you what, if you hadn't had the experience, right, just go get a mortgage done. Yeah. And let me tell you what, the closing date, that thing will move around until everybody gets ready. Until the bank is satisfied. That's right. And until then, that's the bottom line. Nobody else is going to control that. And I'm going to tell you, and I would see bankers laugh when they would see those closing dates. Yeah. Because you would have transactions where houses needed work, or, your borrower needed work. They didn't have enough money, or inspections had to be done. I mean, there's so many reasons why. So my thing is that you always, if you are a superior negotiator, especially if you're in the real estate business, you negotiate your deal contingent upon bank approval. Right. Until the bank has approved my buyer, until the bank has approved the property, because they underwrite both separately. Right. They underwrite the real estate in the deal, which is your security. Right. And then they underwrite the borrower in the transaction. Until they are completely satisfied with both, money doesn't exchange hands.
And guess what? Those elements have to line up.
They have to.
They absolutely.
Or
have
I know
to line
money
up.
doesn't exchange hands.
Well, how about this? Number 7. You gotta have an attitude where you're willing to walk away from the deal.
So you're saying that you got to have, or you got to know the value.
Yeah.
Of a forget it attitude.
You really do. You have to know what the value is of your walking away. You know.
Now some people can't do that.
Now that's a problem, especially if you're in business. I have a policy, because I'm an old finance guy. I have a policy about making deals fit.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
If a deal doesn't fit, walk. You know.
But I don't want to lose this deal.
No, you don't have it. You didn't have a deal when you came in the door. What are you losing? That's the point I never get. Is like, what are you losing? You didn't have a deal.
McFly, there is no deal.
There is just no deal.
And you know, it's so hilarious to me when I think about how many times I've heard that. Well, I don't want to lose this deal. You have no deal.
You didn't have a deal.
What are you talking about? A deal means that you've consummated and executed a contract.
You're trying to actually determine if you do have a deal.
Right. You're negotiating.
Yeah. You don't have a deal yet.
And you guys aren't together on terms. So you got to have a forget about it attitude.
Yeah.
And I've heard that referred to from my Jewish friends as chutzpah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's
And
called.
you got to know, you got to be able to walk away from it all.
Now, if you can't walk away from a deal, you got real trouble, folks.
Oh yeah. It is probably one that you should not close.
That's exactly right. And guess what, folks? It's okay to walk on a deal that won't fit. If it just won't fit, it just won't fit. And I'm stunned at the number of people who will go to the time, energy, effort, and expense, I might add, to try to force a deal to fit when you've got all the data that tells you this deal doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, more of our 11 principles to wheel and deal when we come back. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. Folks, when you need credit help, you can get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. Don't go away. The education continues right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Welcome back to the show, guys. If you want to join the conversation, feel free. There's still time. You can reach us at 347-857-3958. Again, the number here to the studio is 347-857-3958. Or you can log in to www.cruiseandhughes and listen to any portion of this show in its entirety by going to our archives. Now, also, we got our producer extraordinaire, Stephen K, standing by. If you want to go into the chat room and punch out a question on your keyboard, he'll make certain that we get an answer to you. Now, we left off, Irv, with having the value or knowing the value of a forget about it attitude.
Right.
Some people refer to it as chutzpah.
Sure.
And being able to walk away from a deal when terms that you desire aren't being met properly.
Absolutely. Which kind of brings us to number 8.
All right.
So only when you'll admit that everything good or bad that happens to you is entirely without a doubt your fault will you ever have your act together.
That was a tough one for me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because as a entrepreneur,
yeah,
who made lots of mistakes.
Sure.
I blamed employees. I blamed partners. I blamed associates. I blamed customers. I blamed the fact that I didn't have enough funding.
Sure.
Just anywhere I could lay blame.
Sure.
Other than myself.
Sure.
I laid it.
Until we as business owners, entrepreneurs, people in leadership positions are ready to assume full responsibility for what does and does not happen, do you believe we are in a position to even wheel or deal?
No, I don't, because part of accepting the leadership role over people, over a department, over an organization, is understanding that the buck stops with you. You are solely responsible.
Right.
When the Cowboys lose,
right.
Who do the fans hate?
Right.
Either the head coach or Jerry Jones or both.
That's right.
So they don't hate the players.
Nope.
Players come back next year and they try it again.
Sure.
And so it stops with leadership. It stops at the head of the organization. And I don't believe that you're ready to take yourself to the next level until you have accepted that everything good, bad, or indifferent that happens in that organization is entirely your fault, because you started the business, you hired the people, you developed the culture. And if you didn't do those things and they just happened under your watch, you're equally as guilty.
That's exactly right. Now, that's what I was about to segue into, John, is that not doing it, in my estimation, is worse than doing something wrong.
Just as bad.
If
you allow a crime to happen,
right, and
you witness it and do nothing,
right,
you're an accomplice.
That's exactly right. You're in
on it.
Yes.
So in your organization, if you witness atrocities happening, customers not being called back,
that's an atrocity.
People doing things like hitting on their coworkers.
Wow.
And I mean in a sexual way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And you sit there and you do nothing.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
No doubt about it. And let me tell you, a lot of people spend a great deal of time, for whatever reason, and I'm not sure why this happens, trying to not be responsible for what happens in their business. To the point where I've literally seen people pay people to not be responsible for a particular area of their business. I don't get it.
I don't know.
I mean, it's almost like dealing.
Well, look at Ken Lay.
Well, that's an example.
I mean, what did he say when the doors of Enron were all but closed, and he assumed the position of CEO again?
Right.
He said that he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, and that in and of itself makes you an accomplice.
It's your fault.
Right.
So, if you want to get your act together, if you're ready to go to the next level, then you have to understand and accept that everything that happens, good, bad, or indifferent in your organization is entirely your fault. And this is what I would also add to that. Deal with problems quickly.
Yep.
Deal with issues quickly.
Yep.
You know, we had Donovan here in town not long ago, and he said one of his managers told him that, you know, bad news delivered quickly is bad news.
Right.
But bad news delivered late can be catastrophic.
That's true.
So sitting back and doing nothing is worse than, you know, that's probably the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah,
Deal with it quickly.
Yeah, because when you get questions that start with words like, did you know? Or questions that start with words like, why didn't you?
Yeah.
And you can just fill in the blank.
The rest of it is not going to be that great.
No,
you know?
no. You can stop there. That's just not going to be good at all. How about number 9?
Go ahead. Or you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll take my turn. The ultimate secret to getting absolutely everything you want is to be willing to do absolutely whatever it takes.
I like that. You know why I like that? Because most people will stop short of what it takes to get whatever they want.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean stopping short is I'm not necessarily even talking about just the action it takes, but even the patience it takes.
Yeah.
A lot of people in my family, they always get on my case because they always say I'm spoiled rotten.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason for that is because I generally am comfortable waiting until I get what I want.
Yes.
Because
you're just not going to accept less.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to. I'm reasonably inflexible about that. I need to get what I want, and if I need to sit still until the conditions are right, or until I can create the conditions that I need, I'll do that.
And it's funny how that can annoy some other people.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is.
Neither am I. All right, you want to hit them with numbers?
Okay, so what are we on? Number 10?
Yes, sir.
Number 10. You can have absolutely anything you want, unless one of two things happens. Now this is a cool one. I want to say this again because this is a real cool one. You can have absolutely anything you want unless one of two things happens. So there's two conditions to keep you from getting anything you want.
Okay.
Number 1, you change your mind. Number 2, you allow someone else to change your mind.
How many entrepreneurs have done number 2?
You give somebody else the remote and they change the channel.
You know, I like that. You're giving them the remote to your mind.
Yeah. I don't like people changing the channels in my mind. No.
You know that? And how often, even in your own business, have you been dedicated, working hard to achieve the goal that you've set, and you run into some problems, and you go and talk to someone else who's done anything nearly as creative as you, hasn't taken the chances that you've taken, and they talk you out of your dream. They talk you out of the path that you were on.
It reminds me of Jeff Rose.
Oh,
our good friend Jeff Rose, because a lot of people told him not to start.
I was one of them,
and nobody could stop him.
And you know what? I mean, there's something to be said about that.
There's something to be said about that. Maybe we can kick that around when we come back.
He doesn't let anybody change his mind. That's for sure.
That's right. He don't give anybody his remote. That's for sure. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by RingCentral.com. To get RingCentral's virtual PDX for your business, you can give them a call today at 888-716-5022. Don't go away, folks. We're in the home stretch. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge. Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disastrous, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Steven, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I have been talking about the 11 principles to wheel and deal as an entrepreneur. Again, I'd like to say if you've missed any portion of this show, always go back to our website, which is www.cruzandhughes.com, and you can find this show in its entirety, or you can go to our Cruz and Hughes YouTube channel. Absolutely. And we also keep the video as well as the audio posted there. Now, we're all the way up to number 11, Irv.
Yeah, number 11. Only when a person needs, wants, and truly appreciates your help, and above all else is willing to help themselves, can you help them.
Now, I have to say that this is a very, very important principle, because how many times have we seen organizations that need to get rid of certain people in certain positions,
right,
and they feel like that they're helping that person by holding on to them, trying to develop them, and you and I can see it right off the top. Hey, this is not the guy. Get rid of him.
Right.
Get rid of her.
Right.
And
right.
unless that person is really willing and able and ready to accept your help, you're not helping that person.
Now, give that person an opportunity to move along.
And find whatever it is that they're looking for.
Whatever it is that they're looking for. Just, I always say it that way. Hey, let us give you an opportunity to grow here.
Yeah.
Because because you're not a fit here, or worse, we're not in a position to appreciate your true talents.
And you believe in firing fast.
Yes, I do.
Hire slow, fire fast.
Hire slow, fire fast.
So that's good advice.
And see, the big thing is people in my organizations generally understood that the minute, the instant, the second that they didn't want to be a part of our organization, I wanted them out more than they wanted to be out.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, we might make this 12 principles the next time we talk about it, because I like hire slow, fire fast.
Absolutely, that's good.
Guys, I want to remind you that if you're in the Houston area on February 1st, that Irvin is going to be hosting a government supply contracting class. It is at the Kingdom Builders Center. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. That is on February 1st. If you'd like to register for it, you can go to
www.net30credit.com.
I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this has been Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Guys, we appreciate you listening to the show. It's been brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. Until tomorrow, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you tomorrow.
Take care.